My name is Susie Fisher, and I'm the owner and sole proprietor of Altona Yoga. Altona Yoga opened in June of 2020. It is a small yoga studio in Altona, Manitoba, Treaty 1 territory, where we offer movement-based practice and classes for folks who are looking to kind of incorporate not only a little bit of exercise into their lives, but also some mindfulness and mental health practices. So we try to combine all of that in what we offer.
Who comes to Altona Yoga? What kind of people do you see coming to your doors?
Yeah, we have people from all different walks of life who join us for practices. We offer outdoor programming during the pandemic, so Run Club, which is free. We have meditation classes, mindfulness classes, which are also free. And then we offer a range of different yoga classes, so anything from beginner to advanced.
What drew you to this profession, to doing something like this?
Yeah, well, I actually have a PhD in history, in Canadian history, which probably is why I'm a yoga instructor now. No, I'm just kidding. I've been doing yoga since I was 13 years old, and it's always been a part of my life, kind of off and on. And it was a useful tool for me in terms of learning how to manage mental health and be healthy in body and in mind and in spirit. So I think the training that I did was just a natural extension of wanting to share this practice.
Something that you wanted to go over was mindfulness, as well as caring for the body.
Yeah, well, at Altona Yoga, we really encourage people to be aware of their thoughts and their emotions. Remember that we are not our feelings and our emotions, and we can learn to have a little bit more tuned awareness of what's going on up here when we tap into what's going on in here. So body-mind connection works to kind of slow the fluctuations of our minds, especially in our fast-paced, stressful lives, and to pay a little bit more attention to what's behind all of those thoughts and feelings as we think about the breath and think about the way the body moves with intention.
It's amazing the connection between mind and body, and like you say, our thoughts are not us.
Yeah, and the goal of mindfulness is never to empty the mind. We're human, we have brains. This is part of how we operate in the world. But we can slow those thoughts down or focus them on a particular thing in the present moment. And that present-centered focus is what really keeps the mind healthy.
So when someone comes to Altona Yoga, takes your classes, how does that positively affect their body?
You know, when we're running or we're doing different exercise or really physical exercise, sometimes we don't pay attention to what's going on in the body. And so just that constant reminder to draw that awareness inward instead of outward, I think really helps people to pay attention to what's going on in their body, to listen, to not push themselves too much, but to also be mindful of what that edge is and where they can potentially push themselves a little bit further.
Maybe some people are a little hesitant when it comes to yoga because they're like, oh my goodness, I cannot do that pose. So what would you have newcomers expect?
I personally think yoga is for everybody. Yeah, we have something for people of all abilities and levels. And I just encourage people to come try it out.
What's your favorite pose?
Good question. Well, I think anything that opens up the hips. As an academic, I've spent a lot of my life sitting in front of a computer, and I've definitely noticed that as I get older that my hips are suffering a bit. So yeah, even just a simple cross-legged position, that letter 4 or that pigeon pose, all of those are great, I think.
What about the most difficult pose you know how to do?
Inversions like handstands and headstands. I don't practice them as much as I think I should, but I do enjoy them. They're exhilarating and fun.
How long can you hold one of those?
Headstand I could probably hold for anywhere up to 3 to 5 minutes. Handstand, I need the supportable wall.
Gotcha. But doesn't all the blood go to your head? How do you
It does. It's kind of good for the brain, I think, to invert once in a while.
Was there anything else that you wanted to cover? Maybe a thought you had while we were chatting that you wanted to talk about and get word out?
An important part of Altona Yoga for me is the community aspect and kind of building and growing that community and remembering that yoga is so much more than just exercise. It's also also a tool for social justice and accountability. So we've been raising money for Roseau River First Nation, holding fundraising classes. We've been trying to broaden and pay attention to what yoga means in the West as compared to where it began in India, and trying to bridge those gaps of understanding and sometimes a lack of awareness. So yeah, I think we're building a strong community.
Why is it important to, even when you're at home or don't have somewhere to go to keep active?
I would say yoga has really carried me through the pandemic as just a way of turning inward and away from the mess of what's going on and that kind of divisiveness we've seen in our community, lots of differing opinions about what's going on. At the end of the day, just sort of tapping into what's here is so important.